As government employees switch to mixed jobs, the private sector will introduce new work norms. Singapore, the Public Service Division will introduce work norms for hybrid modes of working while managing the risks, as telecommuting becomes a permanent part of work for public officers. However, PSD also emphasized that hybrid work is not an entitlement, and the requirements of the job take precedence. This was one of the key points in a report of the Public Accounts Committee, which was presented to Parliament on Wednesday. The committee had looked at weaknesses flagged in the Auditor General's report last year, and discussed broader issues that could impact spending, financial governance and controls in the public sector arising from the report. These issues include disruptions to the global supply chain, re-evaluating baseline spending in the new normal and the Singapore Green Plan. The committee also discussed the potential impact of the shift to hybrid working, which would likely become a permanent feature of the public sector workforce, said the Office of the Clerk of Parliament. The PAC was concerned about the impact on governance, controls and oversight, it said. PSD informed the committee that it would introduce appropriate controls to manage risks in people management, workplace health, and cyber and information security in tandem with the switch to hybrid work. PSD added that within the public service, remote working has enabled more nimble collaboration across the government, with diverse agencies coordinating and organizing themselves at short notice for COVID-19 related missions. The mainstreaming of hybrid work in the public service would allow the public service to lock in the productivity gains from remote working initiated during COVID-19, while balancing the need to foster teamwork and organizational cohesion, the report said. PSD, which is under the Prime Minister's office, also said that job requirements take precedence over hybrid work. Public sector agencies should determine the specific provisions that best suit the business needs and operating context of their organization. Officers should also adjust their work-from-home schedule to give precedence to organizational needs, it said. Where the nature of work requires physical interface with citizens and stakeholders, this would be observed. It also noted that new hires may not be able to work from home as much at the start given the need to orientate them to the organization or help them develop bonds with colleagues. On people management, PSD noted that hybrid work presents new challenges in terms of managing work goals and team. It acknowledged that there was a risk of overwork arising from a blurring of the line between work and life in a hybrid environment. In consultation with leaders and unions, PSD will introduce guidelines to set clear work norms for hybrid work. These include establishing clear expectations on officers' availability and work hours. On performance management, supervisors should discuss and communicate clearly to subordinates their expectations and provide regular feedback on work performance. There will also be guidelines for supervisors and officers to establish regular check-ins to drive achievement of work outcomes. Officers are held accountable for the outcomes of their work and contributions, rather than face time in office, PSD said, adding that it would step up training for supervisors in performance management. Hybrid work may also create feelings of social isolation. With reduced physical interactions between colleagues and supervisors, it might be more difficult to identify when an employee is struggling with mental health and intervention is required, it said in the report. The public service set up a counseling hotline in March last year for all public officers who need to seek professional help, among other measures such as regular wellness webinars.